Hey, welcome to the Weege Show. We got some fans? Yeah, we got some fans. Now this is ridiculous that you're cheering right now because you saw who just came by.
Yeah.
Who just came by? Number 3.
Yeah, Eli's back.
Yeah, we just saw Eli Tomac turn a lap for the first time in 2 years in motocross.
We're excited.
You're excited?
Oh, yes.
Living legend, everybody. Thank you. Not me, Eli. Yeah, so that's happening right now. Press day at Budds Creek. Oh no, he said Red Bud. It's Budds Creek! Welcome to the Weege Show, brought to you by the Honda CRF 450R, CRF 250R, CRF 450R on the showroom floor right now. They have to be. You got to get 400 units on the showroom floors, or Hunter Lawrence wouldn't have been allowed to ride that bike last weekend. That has been verified. That indeed did happen, and then he won a moto on it. So Honda backs our show. Check out that bike. I think there's still time if you want to buy a 2024 buy the bike, get the swag. I'm gonna risk life and limb here. Come on. We got it. We got a shot of Tomac in action. We have Tomac and Negan on the track together. Are you kidding me? We need to start having fans come on Friday. Just advertise that. But look, as good as Eli looks out here, you probably could learn more if we just ask him some questions about his comeback, and that's exactly what I did. Here's Eli. First thing, how much time have you had to get ready for this?
I think it's around 3.5 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I've gotten plenty of full distance motos in and at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, racing's a whole different story, but I've had quite a few 30 plus 2 days, you know, put in the moto, so feel pretty good. And
from not having even raced this last year and the bike changed and all that, how much of a difference was that when you first had to get back into moto mode?
Well, the good thing is I had a really good preseason test before I got hurt. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a good test out in California. And, so I'm still on that.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that that works.
Yes.
So I didn't change much at home during this time and relying on that base setting. And you're right, this is a whole new bike for me. I've never ridden in motocross. So.
Okay. And really, is this about getting ready even for SMX, or is it about you got other off-season races you're doing? Yep. Is this a much larger push even to next year and all that of just getting seat time? Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, I getting in these last 2 motocross, the SMX.
Yeah.
And then the WSX also in the fall.
Yep.
So. Yep, just getting in that race.
Right. So it's not even just about the result at any one of these races. This is a larger plan than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, and I just want to be back racing.
Oh, you just missed it that much? We never know sometimes. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, these are 30 plus 2, and it's going to be hot and humid. You could have probably skipped it, but you want to do it. That's the best part.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what we really want to hear. You already were asked, but any expectations for the weekend?
Podium would be nice.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Try to get a whole shot.
Yeah.
You know, battle for the lead, something like that would be cool.
Some people cheering. Yeah. All right. You're gonna have 1,000 interviews, so get to it. All right, we're back. Press session is over. Eli looked really good. He looked really good. But the best part about that interview you just heard was how excited he just wants to race. And that's the reason I asked this question over. I think the obvious answer is, oh, he's trying to get gate drops in and be ready for SMX because that's a big payday, and you know it'll be awesome to go in there and battle Sexton and Jett and Hunter and all the good guys. Yes, I think that is if there was a pie, or the Mathis blame pie as he calls it, that would be a big part of it. But I believe the bigger part is Eli came back for Supercross this year, wanted to see how it went, and I think he got enough data to say, you know what, I think I'm still good. I think I could still win titles. I think I could still win multiple races in a year, but I didn't have enough prep time. I need more prep time. Getting on the bike November 1st after an Achilles wasn't enough to be as good as I wanted to be in 24. I need time on the motorcycle. Eli was going to race motocross this year. If he didn't hurt his thumb, he would have. I think that was all about seat time and building. So I think all these races he's doing, yes, important. Wants to do well this weekend. That would be rad if Eli was on the podium. WSX, SMX, gonna make some money. But more importantly, seat time, I think is what he's looking for. So he's gonna get that, and it's just cool to hear that he wants to, because, you know, we've been talking about if or when Eli's going to retire for 2 years now. So the fact that he's still that into it and still loves it that much, that being the overarching news, is awesome, and it's good for the sport for sure to have him around. One other race that he could be competing in, we reported on this on the Racer X site earlier this week. Normally by this time of year, we have either a full announcement of Team USA for the donations, or we pretty much know who's gonna be on the team, but that's not happened yet because we believe they are waiting to see how Eli does in these 2 weekends. Now, to me, that seemed a little foolish because I'm like, man, could he really be that good? Like, is it really gonna be a fair ask to be like, hey, Eli, you haven't even raced one of these since 2022, and it's a different Yamaha since then, and you already were injured last year. You're carrying the trophies around?
Not a big deal.
I can't show you with that. You got to earn those. They're shooting the trophies for TV, which means our camera guy, Aaron Kennard, was carrying the first place 250 trophy around. We're just going to say the only people that touch those trophies are the race winners. It's not actually how it works. Somebody's got to set them up. But anyway, I thought it was an unfair ask to say, hey, Eli, you haven't raced outdoors in 2 years, but show up and be super fast in 4 motos and maybe you can earn a spot. But from what I saw today, that might not be an unrealistic request because he looked really good. Now, the team would be fine if it's, let's say, Sexton and Plessinger, who've been on the podium together as the 2 Americans the last couple weeks. That would be a fine team. But I think everybody knows it'd be cool to have Eli Tomac on the team. And just out of respect, they're giving him that shot. We'll see how it goes. So there's a little more on the line than just getting gate drops and time. There is that Team USA thing, I think, hanging over Eli's results here over the next 2 weekends. So that's cool. Other news and notes. Talked to Chance Hymas. Had that great weekend going last week until it wasn't. Said he was fine. He's got a gross burn on his arm from the exhaust pipe, but otherwise he's okay. Did his normal riding and training this week. No injuries or anything like that, so Hymas is good to go. I said, do you want to pick up where you left off? That is obviously his goal. Left off before the crash. He was just feeling good. We'll see how it goes this weekend. And RJ Hampshire is back. I didn't get a chance to talk to him yet. Coming back from the wrist injury. We just don't get this kind of intrigue late in the year. This is the playoffs thing, right? I don't think that's 100%, like I said, the reason Tomac's back only. He's going to take whatever gate job he can get, but in general, this stuff is not happening without those playoffs. Unfortunately, we will not have Cooper Webb this weekend, though. You saw it exclusive on the Weege show last week that he hurt that thumb again, but at least it's only sprained. Doesn't need surgery, but I don't think we'll see him at Ironman either, and he'll be back for SMX. And that's the same story with Jett Lawrence. How will that go? I think it's going to be tight. We saw with Webb that those thumb injuries, they're worse than they should be when you think about how easy it is to do it. The amount of time it takes to come back, but it is Jett Lawrence. It's kind of the same thing that Tomac's under right now. We're not used to a world where Eli Tomac just straight up struggles. I mean, we've seen it in a handful of motos. There were some races, the all-time, what? Yeah! The all-time was Tomac when he went like 10-10 at Colorado, and I think 2021. That was like the weirdest thing ever. We don't see a lot of those. Even the weirdo Eli rides aren't like he's not relevant. I think that's the fear this weekend. What if Eli's just here and just not relevant? He doesn't seem to think that's going to happen. I didn't get that vibe from that press conference. And the same thing with Jett Lawrence. Like, if Jett Lawrence shows up and he's like 80% and he just gets 7th or 8th, that would be weird. Although he actually finished around that spot at the Charlotte SMX last year, but that was like, hey, we weren't ready with the bike. The elite guys, the reason they don't rush back from injury late in the season normally is because there's a whole mental battle and confidence that they don't want to give guys when they come back not ready. But now they've got to come back not ready, but not maybe perfect, because there's too much on the line with the playoffs to skip. So this is a really cool dynamic. I will leave you with this. It goes all the way back to 2012. Yeah, 2012. Ryan Villopoto dominated Monster Energy Supercross to the point where he wrapped up the title so early that he had time to tear his ACL, skip the last couple races, and he was still champ. Didn't race outdoors that year. By about mid-August, videos of Villopoto absolutely ripping in motocross practice, I guess, during the week, started to surface. And I remember being at the Steel City finale, and one of the NBC execs is there, is like, why is Villopoto not racing today? And I'm like, well, generally guys at that level say if I have nothing to gain, I'm not gonna come back. And he's like, nothing to gain? He's like, we cover the NFL. Like, if the player can play, he plays. It's like, doesn't Cowie pay him? Doesn't he have sponsors? And I'm like, yeah, they're just gonna wait till January. And he was just befuddled that, like, maybe the best guy in the sport at that time was healthy enough to ride a motorcycle and wasn't doing it. Now, I've joked to Filippoto about that. He's like, well, I didn't have 30 minutes in me at that point. Maybe I had 20. So back then, you don't see what the 20-minute only Ryan Filippoto looks like. We might get to see that with some of these guys now, which is cool because it throws a bit of a curveball. It's not everyone only races when they're at their very best. We're gonna have these variances with riders coming back and how quickly they can recover and things like that. And that includes Eli Tomac this weekend. But based on what I saw, he might look a lot closer to 100% than should be reasonably possible in that amount of time. Thanks for watching the Weege Show, and we will see how Hampshire, Tomac, and the rest of these guys perform coming back like they normally would not at Bud's.